People always repeat that familiar bit of advice. Never go to bed angry. It sounds like one of those tired relationship slogans. Easy to dismiss, easy to forget. But I learned painfully that it's not just a phrase. It's a warning. And the night I ignored it, I cracked something in my marriage that I'm not sure I'll ever repair. This isn't a story about cheating or some dramatic betrayal. It's about one ordinary evening, a surge of anger I didn't control, a few sentences I wish I could rip out of the air, and the freezing silence that has wrapped itself around my life ever since. It happened on a Tuesday, one of those dull, uneventful days that somehow hang heavy. Rain tapped a restless rhythm on the kitchen glass. Work had drained every ounce of strength from me. A major project collapsed, my boss was impossible, and traffic choked the entire drive home. By the time I stepped through our door, I was desperate for peace. I didn't find it. Dirty dishes filled the sink. Our son's toys covered the floor like traps. And Mark, my husband, sat exactly where I left him earlier, sunk into the couch, controller drooping from his fingers, eyes locked onto his game. Let me be clear. Mark is a good man, gentle, reliable, quietly thoughtful. He's the type who remembers the small things, fixes what's broken, helps without being asked. But he's comfortable, sometimes too comfortable. His job is stable, but not demanding. He's content. And standing there, drowning in stress while he looks so at ease, something inside me snapped. The argument started the way ours usually did, bickering about chores, who was more worn out, who carried a heavier load. Petty things, the kind both people know aren't actually the root of anything. But our voices sharpened anyway, slicing through the room. He told me I was overreacting, that I needed to calm down. That was the spark. The tiny, simple phrase that lit the whole fuse. Months, maybe years, of pressure, resentment, and exhaustion surged upward all at once. I looked at him, saw the irritation in his expression, and I wanted him to feel what I felt. I wanted my hurt to land. And that's when I said it. Not yelled, not flung in rage. I lowered my voice, aimed it like a knife, and struck at the softest part of him. I looked him straight in the eyes and said, maybe if you acted like more of a man around here, I wouldn't sound like such a nagging bitch. Silence swallowed the room. Everything went still. The rain, the TV, even the air. The anger faded from his face, replaced by something I had never seen before. It wasn't sadness. It wasn't fury. It was a complete shutdown. His eyes, those warm, kind eyes I fell in love with, went hollow. He wasn't looking at his wife anymore. He was looking at a stranger. He set the controller down, stood up quietly, and walked away. A moment later, the guest room door clicked shut, and the brief flicker of satisfaction I felt, if you can even call it that, twisted into a cold, heavy dread. I stood there alone in that messy living room, listening to my own cruelty echo inside my head. I had won, and I had never felt more defeated. The next morning, I tiptoed through the house, hoping the night before had blurred into something unreal. But when he entered the kitchen, that hope vanished. He greeted me politely, made his coffee, said only what he needed to say. But he didn't look at me. Not truly. His eyes slid right past mine, like I was invisible. And it stayed that way. We share a home. We sleep in the same bed again. He returned to it after a week, but the closeness is gone. Our conversations are practical, minimal, nothing more. The man who once wrapped his arm around my waist, who whispered silly jokes just to make me laugh. He's hidden behind a barrier I built with my own words. I've apologized again and again. I've tried to explain, to tell him it was frustration, not truth. He nods, says it's fine, but it's not fine, not remotely. When he says it, all I hear is that the version of him I knew has retreated, that I damaged something fragile and central in him, that he's shielding himself from me now. I didn't attack his behavior. I attacked who he is. I struck at the place where he was most tender. And now, what once felt secure between us feels cracked like shattered glass. Sometimes I watch him from across the yard while he plays with our son. His laughter fills the quiet, and for a moment, I see a glimpse of the man I married. But then he notices me watching, and the shutters close again. The warmth vanishes. I'm living beside a ghost. People say words don't hurt, but they do. They carve. They leave scars. And with one reckless sentence, I severed something vital between us. I cut deeper than I ever intended. And I don't know if what I broke will ever fully heal.